All right, Evan, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. So, a flattish day on Wall Street, all things considered pretty quiet. S&P down about 0.25% here on the SPY. NASDAQ flattish there. As the market just awaits NVDA earnings. Those are not out yet. Markets are closed now and have been for about 15 minutes. But we'll check back in on the NVIDIA earnings and see if they have reported. Now, the stock is priced for an absolute blowout quarter, so keep that in mind. They have to absolutely crush it. They probably will crush it, but it's had such an amazing run here. It's hard to imagine it really doing a whole lot more here. Now, I mean, it could gap up and maybe have another leg up in it. That's always a possibility. But with this run that it's had, especially in just the last month or so, this stock is really extended, and essentially it's basically priced in a blowout quarter, essentially. So that is, usually kind of a sell the news type event. But we'll see what happens, and we'll check back in on that in a little bit. Let's look over at, so we talked about the triple Qs, having a bit of a flattish day, still kind of inside of this red candle from last week, but so far they're just holding up for now. We did get a little bit of a fade intraday if we take a look here on the intraday here. So we started up nicely, nice and strong here on the triple Q, mostly led up by Tesla and Apple. Apple is having a nice day. Tesla started to fade back in. NVIDIA also coming back in. The semis leading the charge lower. There was a big sell-off here around 12 o'clock. That brought the triple Qs lower. If we take a look at AMD was up nicely, and that came in pretty sharply off of the highs. That also helped bring in the Qs back to the flat line there. If we take a look at the day there, crude oil also got hit a little bit today, losing that daily 50 moving average. So now we are seeing this pull back a little bit here. This should get back down to maybe that 75 area. Let's flip over this chart here. Yeah, so this is actually getting right into support right now, but it may get down to that 75 handle. You have that daily 100 moving average there. There was some pretty good volume there on the sell-off. So crude deciding to pull back a little bit more here. Ultimately, though, nothing really terrible with the pattern. This is actually pretty good support here for crude, and this is just a little bit of a pullback. It's nothing crazy. Crude had a really nice run here, 7 or 8 weeks in a row, and I just got a little extended, so now trying to pull back a little bit. But if it does lose this support here and that 100 moving average, you're probably going down to that 70 handle. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the XLE. So XLE just get hit a little bit today here, but again, nothing crazy. It's still holding pattern. XOP, just losing this little support area right now, but again, nothing terrible. It has good support here at around $100. OIH, same kind of deal. You'd have this probably about 195 area, we'll call it, that we're very close to as well. We have a gap fill right around here at 192, so nothing too terrible there on crude overall, but did come back in a little bit. Fins also coming back in as well, also with the lower yield, so yield's finally getting a little bit of a pullback here on the 10-year, and that was helping tech earlier in the day to stay buoyant. So let's take a look at copper also, because copper is losing this green bar. I know I've been talking about that for a couple of weeks now, and we don't want to see a close below this green bar low here, which would be at 425 on spot copper. So that would not be a bullish indicator there, because that would mean that you've lost this inside bar pattern. You do have decent support in here, though. Obviously, the 50-week moving average. You have this kind of draw a bit of a trend line in here. You can see this has kind of been like a support area for copper over the last couple of months, but all in all, though, you don't want to see it lose that inside bar. So we want to see some a nice rally stage by the end of the week for copper if we're going to be bullish there in that sector. Precious metals did continue to pull back just a little bit today. Gold, silver pulled back a little bit. Gold actually positive, and silver finishing positive as well. I saw them down a little bit earlier, but yeah, so they did rally back up. So gold and silver actually scratching a gain out here. But again, just chopping out for the week here. And again, just kind of an OPEX kind of grind here. Again, we talked about the buy levels yesterday. We're looking at 1835, 1840 on gold. Might not necessarily even have to wait for it to get there. If this just continues to consolidate, this pattern will be fine to jump in on the long side. You see the same kind of deal on the GDX. the SILJ, same kind of deal, just kind of going sideways. That is bullish. That is setting up for a move higher. We talked a little bit about Bitcoin here. So Bitcoin continuing to sell a little bit today, but although finishing off of the lows, what you don't want to see is, kind of sideways chop here, because that would be, you don't want it to stay inside of this red bar and chop sideways, because that could be setting up for a move back down to 52, maybe 50,000 there, if Bitcoin does fade a little bit here. Outside of that, nothing too crazy going on. Transports got hit a little bit. Broker dealers got hit a little bit as well. So a little bit of weakness, a little bit of breadth problems in the market. But again, really overall just a quiet day on Wall Street, and a little bit more quieter than I would have expected. I thought that we'd get a little bit more volume here. So looks like NVIDIA may be out here. It is bouncing up 303 here after hours, but not a crazy move here so far. Let's just take a look at the intraday. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. So yeah, NVIDIA getting a nice little pop here. Up to the 300 handle, 303 there. Yeah, so nice little move for NVIDIA here after hours. Looks like the market liking it, but nothing crazy yet. This isn't really, it's not crazy enough to take out the highs here yet. But it's holding up. So, we'll just keep a look at it. We'll have to see where it opens tomorrow. I think that's going to be really the telltale sign. Sometimes you see stocks trade up after hours and then on earnings, and then, the next day they open lower, or vice versa. But in any case, overall, really quiet day on Wall Street. We'll see where NVIDIA opens up tomorrow. But anyways, guys, take care. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you tomorrow.